Okay, everyone, welcome to another online lesson as part of our Stuck, Getting Stuck IELTS writing course. Um, Today, I'm going to be talking about something that students can do uh, themselves at home while they're preparing for IELTS by themselves. Okay, we all know that students get stuck to 6.5, and sometimes they spend even years, spend a lot of money, and they keep on retaking the exam time and time again. Some get papers corrected, some go for online courses like this course, but still don't seem to see any real improvement in their writing. What happens is they seem to plateau, so they get to a level and they just can't break through that level. Okay, um, I'm going to talk about some of the reasons why I think this happens, and also I'm going to go through in detail um, a plan that you can follow. Now, um, I do believe that students are not really studying um, hard enough or studying smart enough. Okay, um, maybe some students don't know how to study or what they should be doing. Okay, but definitely there are many students who are not working hard enough and putting in the time and uh, the effort to improving their mark. Okay, I have a lot of experience with this because a lot of students reach out to me online and they tell me, sad stories, how they've been stuck at 6.5 for years, and they've taken the exam a number of times, and they haven't been able to pass. And I hear all of this, all of these sad stories, and many times I decide to help the students and I say, hey, how about I let you observe some of my lessons? Or sometimes I give them articles to read. Sometimes I give them videos to watch. And what I notice is when I go on to the analytics, I notice that the videos haven't been watched. Okay, so students ask for help and they need help in a specific area. You'll give them a video, they'll see that it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and they'll just say, you know what, it's 15 minutes, I don't want to watch it, it's too much time. So really the truth is, in order for you to make progress, you will need to put in the time, you'll need to invest the time and put in the hard work necessary to get the mark that you want. Okay, so it is very, very important. Many students think that just the only way to improve is to get feedback. So sometimes, I might volunteer on different groups like IELTS tips and tricks and so on, and I give people feedback and I give them videos to watch and articles to read, sorry. And what happens is I see that the people who I gave the videos to and the articles to read to deal with their specific problems, they don't read them. And I know there's one from the analytics from YouTube and the analytics from the blogger, that the articles haven't been read. And in addition to that, I see the same mistakes being made. So that's definitely not the way to go about it. It's not just about getting feedback from a teacher or just paying money. People think just because maybe they pay money for a course, then that's it. Automatically, they will get the value and they will learn. It's not about paying money. It's about working hard and putting in the effort that is needed. Okay, so I have here a plan that's approximately 2.5 hours. Now, if you're really desperate and you really want to go to Canada, or I don't know what it is, but most of the doctors seem to be seems to be their goal to go to the UK or to go to Canada. So, if you really want this, then the truth is you will have to put the time in. You will have to put the time in, and I'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Now, a lot of teachers out there will not tell you what you need to do. They will not tell you the truth. They will tell you that you need more essays corrected, or you need to pay for a course, or you need to do something. This is something that you can do by yourself without any teacher, without anyone. So the first thing I recommend is to read Band 8 and Band 9 essays. Okay. Now, how you might ask, like, how will this help you? Okay, I think it will help you in many ways. Okay, one of the ways is from the essays you're going to pick up lots of new vocabulary and lots of new phrases. Okay, now in your own native language, you probably won't write essays. Okay, it's not very common for people to write essays. So some people find it very easy to write letters because in their own language they write letters. But when it comes to essays, not many people write essays anyway, even in their own language. So the kind of formalities needed and the kind of language we use and the style in which we write, you know, most students just don't know. And this is something that you can pick up by reading. There's when you're writing essays, you need to be using a certain format, certain formality, certain level of formality. And what natives do is natives are very steady in the formality. So you'll see a native, he might be using kind of a semi-formal kind of tone, and he will be consistent from the beginning to end, kind of in a semi-formal tone. Even when they use maybe a word that's a bit formal or a little bit informal, they kind of have a steady tone, and it's just like a small kind of wave here and there that you will see in their writing, but more or less it's kind of steady from beginning to end. When you read an essay for someone who's not a native, what you'll find is there isn't a stability in the level, in the tone of formality. You'll find that ultra formal word, boom, and then we go down and we go to a really informal word. So it's like, you're shocked by the level of formality, the ultra formal kind of vocabulary, and then just after 2 seconds, boom, you're going down and you're seeing like informal idioms and stuff like that. So when you start to read for native speakers, you start to get a little bit of a feeling for the language, and you become a little bit more consistent in your level of formality, which is kind of a middle level. So you want to be like formal, semi-formal kind of. You don't want to be ultra formal, and you don't want to also be informal. So this is something that you can pick up from natives. Also, you can pick up the grammar. You don't have to study and analyze the grammar, but just while you're reading, if you're spending that time, you're spending 20, 30 minutes every day reading, it's going to be conditioning your mind with the correct use of grammar. Now, if you go to, visit the UK, or you talk to a native speaker and ask them what an adverb is, or ask them what a verb is, or ask them, they don't know what a verb is. And I studied in the UK, and I, studied when I was in primary school and high school, and so nobody told me what a verb was. So people don't know what a verb is. But still they have a level of accuracy that non-natives don't have. Even those who have studied and have an MA in English and whatever, natives, they usually have a higher level of accuracy. So we're getting that vocabulary, we're getting that accuracy. Also, we're getting the kind of grammatical structures that natives are using. And this is what we want to feel. We want to feel that native vibe. Also, it's a great way of picking up like formal idioms and stuff like that. Okay, so now we don't want to really at this point be studying the essay. You just want to be reading it quickly, to read as much. We want quantity over quality. We want to give ourselves as much exposure as we can to real high quality English. Okay, some of the essays that I recommend. Of course, I'm sure maybe a native will make an odd mistake here and there, but it will be a slip. But I think Simon is good to read. Simon is good to read. IELTS Advantage is good to read. I think it's IELTS Podcast also is good, good to read. I'm not going to specifically recommend any structure that you follow any structure from any examiner or ex-examiner or IELTS teacher, because personally I believe that examiners have different opinions as to what is the correct approach and so on. And me, I always recommend as a teacher the safest approach and the most accepted approach among all the examiners. So when I say read Band 9 essays and so on, I just want you to read them. I just want you to read them for just to give yourself exposure to the language, exposure to the vocabulary, to get those formal idioms in there and so on and so on. Okay. Today I posted some essays. Let me see where it was. I think I posted something in the WhatsApp group. Okay, guys, this is my life here. It's my life. How messed up it is. I posted something. Lots of essays that you guys can read. Let's see. They're not related to IELTS, but of course they're really good, good essays. They were supposed to be from. They were supposed to be for. I'm just going to hide the video. Just 1 second. Hide video pan. Right. Essay topics. Yeah. So here we have argumentative. Yeah. Copy. Let's put that in there. That. Okay. So here we have some essays that you can click on and read according to the different topics. Okay. So should teenagers be required to get their parents' permission to obtain contraceptives? Bad example, but anyway, that's what live lessons are like. That kind of stuff happens. Is our political process fair? Do athletes make too much money? I think we did something like that. I think when you read the kind of common discussions and debates and stuff like that, also it helps to give you some ideas as well. So this is a good one. What's it called? Private writing. Okay, and I think these are for high school students and stuff like that. So they're always on. We're talking about the band 7 kind of level there, which is good for you guys. Okay, so that's that. Of course, while we're reading, we want to write down a vocabulary, new words in our notebook. I'm going to tell you what to do with that vocabulary afterwards. All right. Okay. Now, we want to also spend 10 minutes copying essays from a soft or hard copy into your own handwriting. So when you're putting the essay into your own writing, what will happen is it will kind of stick in your brain, the vocabulary, the phrases, and the grammatical structures, and so on. Hopefully, they will stick within your brain and help you to improve your vocab and your grammar. Then we're going to move on to dictation. Okay, so dictation is something that you really should be doing. You should be listening to some audio that you have a transcript for, listening, playing, writing, listening, playing, writing, and after you've finished, you can check the transcripts to make sure all your spelling is right. If you have any words that are spelled wrong, then it will also be a good idea to take the word and to write it also in your vocabulary book. Okay, now for the next point, which is going to be doing a lot of listening, I recommend bbclearningenglish.com. Okay, Now, they have a lot of different programs. They have 6-minute English, they have the words we speak, words at work, English at university, pronunciation, drama, words in the news. They have lots of different programs, and each program is full of videos with their audio, with their transcript, lots of stuff. And some of them have like exercise for you to do. There's even a full intermediate course, by the way. There's even like a full intermediate course there. There's an intermediate course, a low intermediate course, an upper intermediate course. So you could probably even study English here. For you guys, you'd probably be the intermediate, upper intermediate level. So you could actually follow a full course there and study English. Each one has lessons, has a number of lessons, and so on. So here we have 5 sessions. Each one has a number of activities and so on. What I recommend for you guys is definitely 6-minute English. Words in the news is good. For the speaking, definitely the pronunciation. Okay, for those guys doing the speaking, you definitely want to get that pronunciation. Okay. So anyway, let's just go to what do I have? 6-minute English. I'll just show you what we have. Okay, so you could also you could choose maybe topics and stuff that you really find that you might find interesting. Yeah, robot therapist. Okay, that sounds interesting. Here it's saying the question. This is the hook. It's like, would you tell a robot all of your secrets and so on? Okay, so here we have the vocabulary that was in it, the vocabulary that you were whoa, check in with someone, ethical, stigma, self-reflection, and so on. And here what we have is we have the transcript, so you can check the words, how the words were used, and so on in the program. Here you have the audio. So if you finished the lesson, you've checked the transcript and you've checked the vocabulary and so on and so on, you can download the transcript and you can download the audio and you can listen to it at home, or you can listen to it in your car. I'm sure most of you travel and spend a good 30 minutes every day on the bus or something like that. We all have smartphones. So, this is something you can listen to. You can listen to some real good quality English, and there's nothing better than the BBC. You can't get better than, it's going to sound a bit biased here, but British English. Let me just play it. So this is the program here. So you can listen here, or possibly you could just download the audio and download the PDF. Just download the PDF here. Yeah, so here you have, what do you have? You have the transcript. Okay, so you have the transcript. So what could you do? What could you do with the transcript? What you could do is you could play the audio, stop the audio, play it, stop it, right, play it, stop it, right, play it, stop it, right. Give it a good 5 minutes, and then after you finish, go to the transcript and check, make sure that your spelling is right and so on, and possibly write down, as usual, any words that are new in your notebook. Now, I don't just suggest that you write words that are new in your notebook, but I suggest that you write the word and an example of the word. Where did you find the word? In what context did you find the word? Okay. Number 4, study from collocations in use. Okay. In order for you to get a band 7 for LR, let's see, band 7 LR. Sorry, let me just make it a little bit bigger. My eyes aren't as good as they were. Okay, so we have here, yeah. So uses sufficient range of vocabulary, uses less common lexical items with some awareness of collocation. Okay, so here we want to make sure that we're using collocations well. And also I talked to you guys about using some formal idioms, and these formal idioms will definitely help you to get that band 7. Okay. And yeah, I'd like to congratulate Fizza. I think she took a few of the formal idioms that I told her to use, and she used them, and it was really really good. You know, so I'm happy that Fizza's really been implementing some of the stuff that I've told her to. Okay, so that's some of that band 7. You know. Band 7 vocab. So what are collocations? You know, collocations could be verbs and nouns. So it could be make your bed, for example. Have a shower. So it could be like a verb and a noun. It could be an adjective and a preposition. Interested in. Yeah. Stuff like that. It could be an adverb. Highly. Highly recommended, or maybe slightly larger or something like that. Okay, you might have an adjective and a noun, as well. Okay, so these are things that you can definitely practice and you can definitely improve on. Now, the book that we recommend and most teachers recommend is English Collocations in Use. Okay, this is a good book. It has lots of exercises. The book is highly available. You can find this book. It's not difficult to find. Lots of exercises that are good for you. If you're studying and you have more time and you want to do a lot more, possibly you could work on the next one. I think it's upper intermediate. Yeah, is it advanced? I think. Yeah, we have the intermediate here. And we have the advanced. I'm not sure if we have an upper intermediate. I think it's just intermediate and advanced. I don't know. I haven't seen an upper intermediate. So we have the intermediate. And if you're finished with that, really don't want anything, like complicated. But if you're finished with the intermediate, maybe you could do a little bit of the advanced. But I don't think you really need, that advanced stuff for band 7. Okay, so here I have download audios. So we want to do a lot of listening, and we said we can use this listening for two things. We can use it for listening itself, and we can also use it for the dictation as we're practicing the dictation. One thing, of course, the brain is an amazing tool, and it can process a lot of the language that you hear, even if you're not focused. So don't think just because I'm busy, I'm washing the dishes, or I'm washing my car or something like that, that you're not benefiting. You are definitely benefiting. Click on play and just let that audio play in the background, and hopefully your brain will be absorbing all of that language. Okay, so if you travel to work and you spend that good 30 minutes traveling every day, make sure while you're traveling, you're listening to bbclearningenglish.com. Download, a good 10, 15, 20 audios, whatever your phone can take, and, just keep on playing something all the time. They have some really interesting stuff as well. And they have a lot of stuff about the news, what's happening in the world and stuff like that, environment, lots of really useful stuff. So you could really download stuff that you need, because maybe you don't have ideas. A lot of students, they get stuck when it's like environmental problems. They're like, I don't know anything about the environment. Well, you have to. Okay, now, so here we have number 6, practice analyzing, brainstorming, and planning. At least one task 1 and one task 2 every day. So you make that plan. Okay. On my page, I have something. Do I? Yeah. It's the last thing I think I posted. Last thing I posted on my page, and it was just maybe the 8 steps that go into the planning process of task 2. Okay, so you keep on taking task 2s. You analyze the requirements of the question very carefully. You brainstorm as many opinions as you can. You choose the position according to how many ideas you have, not you choose the position and try to force an idea on it. It doesn't work like that. You write your thesis statement, you lay out, your thesis statement with the main ideas and examples. If you don't find the examples, then it's not a good idea to start with. Lay out the structure for your essay, then you move on to brainstorming vocabulary. After that, you can start with another one. The more you practice this process, the quicker you will get, and you'll be able to finish your exam and have time, hopefully, for even maybe a little bit of spell, for checking and so on. Proofreading, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, I also have something for task 1. You can go into my blog and check that out. Okay, 7. If there are topics that you don't have much knowledge about, I suggest that you search the internet and find articles written about them. Okay, newspapers are great for social issues, technology, business, and so on. Okay, I think you should at least spend 10 minutes every day reading about topics that you find difficult to write about. At least they'll give you some ideas. One of the common, complaints that I get is, I went to the exam, he asked me a question, I know absolutely nothing about that. Well, there's no secret. We have 13 IELTS books, and the 13 IELTS books, they cover common topics. Education, the environment, kind of the social issues that we are having, and so on and so on. It's like the same things. And sometimes, a lot of the time, in IELTS, what they do is they repeat the same subject, but instead of asking you what is your opinion, they might say, what are the causes and what are the solutions? So they'll give you exactly the same topic as they gave you like a previous time, and they'll just ask you a different question. Okay, so once you practice a lot with all of the questions, and you read up on all of the common topics and stuff like that, hopefully you should be prepared and you should have lots of ideas, to write about. 8. If you got feedback from a qualified teacher, I think you should choose your teachers very carefully. I'm sure there are good teachers out there, okay, but make sure you do a little bit of research on the teacher who's correcting your papers, because I hear a lot of complaints. People are telling me that, people are giving them feedback and telling them that they got a band 8 and they band 7.5 and stuff like that, and then they go to the exam and they get a band 6. So maybe the band marks are deceiving, and the advice they're getting might not be the best advice. Okay, so try to get somebody who is qualified and who has a really good reputation. So find a teacher who's getting results and so on for students, and you can get them to give you feedback. Okay, of course there's always me, so don't forget about me if you want to get feedback. Now what we want to do is, when you get that feedback, what I notice is some students, they get feedback, but then in the next essay they repeat the same mistake. And for some students, I've just had to tell them, look, I'm sorry, I can't correct your papers anymore. I've corrected 10 papers for you, and you haven't implemented any of the feedback that I've given you. So it's not just a case of I'm paying money, so automatically something should happen. It's a case of you're paying money. You have to take into consideration the feedback, and then when you write the next time, you don't repeat the same thing. This is important. So what I think is, if you have like a lot of feedback that you've gotten from teachers, take that essay and quickly rewrite it, but with the correct grammatical structures and so on and so on. So you have like marks for grammar and comments for grammar and vocab and stuff like that. You should write it down correctly and maybe add any points or change anything that's not right. That should take 15 minutes because the essay is already there. You're just writing it again. That's all you're doing. You're just writing it again and writing down the correct grammatical structures and adding a few points here and there. Okay, so that I think is very, very effective. Okay, also some teachers, to be honest, I don't even do it myself, but I think there are some teachers who take a writing and they give feedback and they do like a recheck or something like that, where you send it back to them and they tell you, you know, what they think. So if you find someone who does like offers a service like that, then definitely go for it. Number 9. While you've been studying, of course, you must have collected like a lot of vocabulary and some of the spelling mistakes, and you know, and and what I suggest is that you take that vocab and you start to search the internet for how these words are used. Okay, so you want to learn how to use these words. Okay, try to collect a good, you know, 5 examples, you know, of this word and how it's used. We have a great site. I don't know if it's a great site. I'm not really a fan of American English, but it has a search. It has a search function in it, so you can just search, you know, for the words. I think I showed you this one before. Type in a word. Just type in a word, and you can, you know, it will come up with, you know, articles that have the word. So um, reconcile. Okay. See anything with reconcile? Yes. Okay. Okay. So once you have the articles, you can maybe choose an article or 2 or 3 or even, you know, a few of them actually. No. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Okay. Once you have the article, you're going to click on Control and click on F. That should bring up the search function for the article itself. And then we're going to go for the word that we're looking for, reconcile. And the page should highlight the word for you. Okay. Right, let's just shut that one up. Okay, so you know, the page will you know, highlight the word, so you can take an example of that. Okay, the public John McCain felt the need to reconcile his imperfections, said Graham, citing blah, 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 blah. So then you can maybe copy and paste examples of that. So then you can see how the word is being used, because vocabulary isn't just about the meaning. Vocabulary is also about connotations. If it's a positive word, if it's a, you know, if it has a positive meaning, if it has a negative meaning, you know, how it's put, what it's collocated with. There's so much that comes with a word, and it's not just the word itself. So try and find a few examples with it in it, just so that you get a feeling for the word. Okay, a lot of students, they know a word and they learn the meaning of the word, but when they use it in the wrong context, and it's just a bit strange. So we don't want to be doing that. We want to make sure that we are learning the word and how we use the word, the context, the collocations, and everything about the word that we can. Okay. So let's get back to the list. Yeah. So, you know, give yourself a good 15 minutes to study, you know, how the word is being used and so on. Now that you have a new words list, okay, so you have that words list that's ready, you have the meaning, you're sure about the collocations, and so on and so on. Okay, so we're on the right track here. Okay. So now we're on the right path and we know what we're doing. We want to study these words and we want to memorize them. Okay, so here what we're going to do is we're going to go to vocabulary.com. We're going to sign up. You can just join, you know, by using your Facebook thingy, whatever. And then you can start a new list. Okay, so you start a new list and you start to list the words. Reconcile. Okay. Abstract. What else? Anyone give me Not sure what to do. Anyway, it's okay. So we'll just start there, and we have this. So we have these words, and we're going to start learning these two words. Oh, sorry. Let's put a name for it. 2 words. Okay. Learn these 2 words. So then, what you can get is you can get exercises. Okay. So you can get exercises. If you get it wrong, you'll be told that it's wrong. Okay, so this tell you that the word is wrong. So what does abstract mean? Does it mean this one? Oh no. See if you can spot it now. Yay. So then we get the word and we get the meaning of the word. We get an explanation of the word. We can move on to the next one. Okay, reconcile. What does it mean? What does it mean? Hunker down. No. And so on. So if you have like a list, you can keep on adding to that list every day, and you can keep on practicing this. And also, in addition to practicing these words, you can also do other things, like you can check your spelling. Let's go to vocabulary.com. I don't know why this is wrong. This is wrong. They also have spelling as well. I'm not sure. Right. I've done it once. I don't know why. I can't remember it. So let's just. So this is another list. So you can also, of course, you can practice your specific list. By going to it. You have your lists and so on. Yeah. Your lists are here. My lists. Yeah. So here you have your lists and so on, and you can use, you can start to practice. Also, it has spelling. It's been a couple of weeks. I haven't used it, so I've forgotten. But they have also spelling exercises and so on. I'm sure 5-10 minutes, just checking out this website, you'll be able to figure it out. But that's how things are when you go live, on video, everything goes wrong. Okay, guys. Now that you have your new word list, you're going to start practicing the meaning, practicing the spelling, and so on and so on. You can add to this list every day. So, good 10 minutes practicing your new words, should help you to improve. So, this whole plan that I put together is a 2 to 2.5 hour a day plan. Now, I think if you do this for 1 month, you will improve. Okay, but the truth is, who will do it? Who's willing to put in their Okay. Sorry about that. I think we had a connection problem or something. Okay. And number 10. Sorry. So this is altogether, we said, is 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And whoever is willing to put in 2 hours a day to solid study will definitely improve. Okay. Now, this might seem straightforward, but in reality, it probably won't happen. Why? Because we have kids, we have Facebook, we have phone, we have WhatsApp, and we have lots of stuff that is going to stop us from studying. Okay, so in order for us to make this plan work, it's not just that we need to work hard and whatever. We need to plan. How can we study? When is the best time for me to study? When can I get that time? Because most of you work and have kids and stuff like that. So it is tough for you. So it's about planning. You really need to make a plan. I need 2.5 hours and I don't want to see anyone in those 2.5 hours. I need peace and quiet. I need a laptop. I need a notepad. I need an internet connection. I need whatever. And probably the best way to do it would be to switch off the internet, to disconnect, from the internet, just so that you don't get those, beeping, messages and stuff like that. Maybe even switch off your phone while you're studying, and for the parts where you need the internet, maybe you can connect, but try to avoid, like social media sites and so on until you have finished. So as I said, you need to get everything that you need with you. So if you need books, if you need a notepad, if you need pencils, if you need, internet, make sure that's sorted. Make sure everything that you need is there. You might even need a snack here and there and a drink or whatever. If possible, bring everything and make sure you have everything that you need with you. Okay, you will possibly need a good two breaks there. You will need a good 2 breaks. I think maybe 45 minutes. Every 45 minutes, you could have maybe, a 5-minute break. Drink a quick cup of tea, or have a drink and just, relax a bit. I would avoid Facebook and avoid social media because, that 5 minutes might turn into like half an hour. So try to avoid social media and just, get a, quick breather or drink or something like that. Okay, so that's more or less the plan that I have, and I'm 100% sure anyone that puts that plan into practice and puts in that 2 hours, 2.5 hours every day for like a full month will definitely see an improvement. And you guys, most of you, the ones that are stuck on the 6.5, if you're making improvements even in other areas, if you're making improvements in LR, you make improvements on grammatical range and accuracy, you're making improvements in TA, you're making improvements in CC, whatever you're doing, hopefully will add up and help you to get that band 7. Okay, so maybe even if after 1 month or 2 months of solid study, you're still weak in TA, hopefully you can bring up your mark in something else. You can bring up that mark in LI, you can bring up that mark in GRA, you can bring up that mark in CC, or whatever it is, and break that 6.5 plateau. Okay, so there shouldn't be any excuses, and no one should cry and say, I've been stuck on 6.5 for months and months and months. Some people even claim, I have emails of people telling me that their whole life has come to an end for like a standstill for like 2 years because of that half of a band mark. Now, I don't think if anyone was working hard and working smart for 2 years, they would be still stuck at 6.5.